Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing with the cutting die of the month from Brutus Monroe. It is called Tea for Two. It has some awesome gnomes and a mushroom and a couple sentiments. Now I'm going to use the mushroom dies because even though this isn't the exact shape, it reminds me of the 1-Up mushrooms in Super Mario Brothers. So I'm going to use my Emerald Glitter Glaze to make some green mushrooms. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so I'm starting out by taking my Emerald Glitter Glaze and I am just placing it on some white cardstock. What this is going to do is basically make my own glitter paper. So glitter glaze is an amazing mixed media medium that will do awesome things for you. So I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. And now I'm going to lay a little bit of kind of brown ink down on some white cardstock as well. So instead of using a brown cardstock, I am just going to make my own mushroom. Now, the fun thing about this is that you're creating everything, right? Like, you're not using pre-made paper. You are literally creating everything. And that is fun for me. I think that it is super fun and super meaningful to create, you know, basically your layout from nothing. You're creating it from white paper. So I am going to run the dies through my die cut machine right here. And I am running through the mushroom bits, and then I'm also running through the grass. So that is a little bit of a grass thing that will live on the bottom of the mushroom. So I also die cut out the glittered mushrooms, and I am just setting my stamping block on top of it to kind of weigh it down a little bit so that it will get really good adhesion. Now I'm trying to be better with my tweezers, so I am using them for this project. I'm still not very proficient with them, but I'm trying, and that matters. Like, that, I get credit for that, right? Like, you get credit for trying to use your tools. I use my scissors. Yeah, I'm great with scissors. Mastered that at 4 in kindergarten. Now, I do use my tweezers for other things, but for some reason, moving around die cuts and things like that, it's a little bit of a stressful situation for me, and I don't know why. Now, I am taking that mushroom die, and I am die cutting through some fun foam because I want my mushrooms to be lifted up off of the page. So you could do this with layers of cardstock, or like I'm doing here with the fun foam. I figured doing it with the fun foam would be a lot quicker than if I had to die cut multiple layers of cardstock to get me a little bit of lift. Now, you might disagree with that, and you might like the stability of a paper layer, and you want your mushrooms to be hard. I mean, who wants hard mushrooms? Ew. But there is a little bit of give because it is craft foam, guys. So that is there. So these are totally like giving me the vibe of the 1-Up mushrooms from Super Mario Brothers. I know that they aren't the exact same. I get that, but it's given me that vibe. I've said it before and I'll say it again. These mushrooms make me think of two things: steak or Super Mario Brothers. So steak or video games, and that's where my head goes with this. Again, I am taking white cardstock and creating my background. So I just used some inked blending brushes and inked around the edges, and now I'm going to cut down that card so that I can mat it on something. My brain just kind of went derp on me. So I am using my grid mat to center these mushrooms in the card. And then I also cut around the edge of that card because when I ink blended onto it, it gave me kind of that hard edge of ink around the edge, right? Like you see the inked edges. And I didn't want that. So I just trimmed that down, and then I went ahead and placed my card onto a black card base. Now here's the thing, guys. I really love putting cards on black bases. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I tend to want to put my cards on a black card base. So I do it, right? Like that's what works for me. So I go ahead and do that. Now, I am going to use my stamp positioner tool right here to go ahead and stamp a sentiment. And I am going to most likely cut this into a banner. I do. Look at me. I know how I do. So I cut that into a banner. But I feel like it's getting kind of lost right there, right? Like it's like this little white banner, and it's feeling very lost. So I am going to try again and see if I can't make my sentiment a little bit more wow than what I had right there. So now what I'm doing, big shock, I'm going to put this sentiment on a black piece of cardstock, and instead of it being a banner, I'm going to leave it as a rectangle shape. Now, I felt like I still needed something else down here, right? Like something had to go, and I was wondering if it should just be a washi tape, but I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to use some embroidery thread. So I pulled this from my stash, and I am literally just going to adhere the embroidery thread underneath of the sentiment and also on the back of the card panel here. And then that way, when I slip it onto the card base, you won't see that whatsoever. And I think I misspoke earlier. I think I said I put it on a card base. I meant a card panel. Bad scrapbooker, using the wrong card terminology. So anyway, you guys, there it is. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.